Good evening. The state of Alabama is preparing to experience significant weather over the next couple of days. This winter weather will affect a number of our southern counties. Because of the potential for this severe weather, I'm here today to discuss what we're doing on a state level to be prepared. I'm joined by Alabama EMA Director Art Faulkner and Jim Stefkovich, who is with our National Weather Service. Our temperatures may not get above freezing in some areas of the state until mid-Thursday. Because of this, and because of what we may experience as far as precipitation, I have declared a state of emergency to deal with this particular issue. The state of emergency will be effective at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and this allows to pre-position equipment as necessary in southern areas of our state. Alabama EMA is activating tonight with limited staff. Tomorrow, the Alabama EMA will be activating at a level 2 at 8 a.m. Our highest level is always level 1. Alabama Emergency Management Divisions are also activating in key areas of our state. These include Mobile, Troy, and Montgomery, and they will activate in the morning at 7 a.m. I've asked our Alabama National Guard to be on standby in support of winter weather operations. Our Alabama Department of Transportation is making necessary preparations to mobilize equipment. ALDOT is activating the Emergency Call Center beginning at 6:30 a.m. on Tuesday, January the 28th. Motorists may check the conditions of Alabama's state and federal highways on the road conditions, and they can go to ALDOT's website, www.dot.state.al.us. To report traffic crashes or other emergencies, motorists are urged to dial 911. The biggest risk is ice accumulation in South Alabama, and for that reason, we are urging motorists to limit travel to necessary or emergency travel only. State offices in Montgomery will be open in the morning, and we will make a decision tomorrow on when or if they will be closed on Tuesday. We encourage schools south of Montgomery to close all day Tuesday and all day Wednesday, because we are concerned about buses and parents and staff being on dangerous roads. We expect patchy rain to move into southwest Alabama late tonight and into Tuesday morning. Roads will likely ice very quickly during the early morning hours on Tuesday, where precipitation occurs, and this will make traveling very hazardous. Bridges will be the first areas to ice over on Tuesday morning. Finally, we are postponing the special elections for the following districts for 1 week. House District 104 in the Jefferson County. No, this is in the Mobile County area. House District 31, which is just north of here, and House District 53. We do not want to disenfranchise any of our voters because of the weather, so we are postponing this for 1 week, these elections. Now, I would like to call to the podium our National Weather Service Director, Jim Stefkovich, and after he speaks, then we'll ask our EMA Director, Art Faulkner, to speak. Jim?
Thank you, Governor. Right now, the National Weather Service has issued a winter storm warning for areas along and south of Demopolis to Alexander City to Roanoke line, and that goes all the way down to the coast. That warning is in effect from along the coastal areas from 6 o'clock in the morning and then as we get a little bit further north up into Montgomery area, beginning at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and the warning continues until 6 a.m. on Wednesday. As the governor mentioned, we'll have some light precipitation tonight, but we're really looking for the bulk of it to occur during the day tomorrow, especially after 10 o'clock and especially during the afternoon and the evening hours. It's a very complex scenario that's setting up. We're expecting a heavy band of snow to occur somewhere in the Demopolis, Montgomery, Auburn areas, and probably only be about 2 to 4 counties wide. But in that band, we could see widespread 1 to 3 inches of snow with isolated higher amounts. As we get closer to the coast, we're expecting everything to start out as freezing rain and or sleet, which causes a lot of problems. And ice accumulations for areas south of Montgomery, Troy, Evergreen, Greenville areas, we're really looking, Chatham, those areas southward, we could see anywhere from 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation before the turnover Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening to snow, then maybe have even upwards of a ½ inch of snow on top of that. So very dangerous situation that's occurring. Temperatures tonight, statewide, will go below freezing, and then we don't expect them, as the governor mentioned, we might have a brief period of just maybe 2 to 4 hours of temperatures getting around 34 to 36 degrees across the entire state, especially down in the south, but maybe not even getting above freezing. And then we'll drop below freezing again tomorrow evening, and we really won't see temperatures getting up into the 40s and 50s until Thursday. With that, I'll turn it back to the governor.
Art?
As Governor Bentley has stated, with the issuance of the state of emergency, that puts in place the Alabama State Emergency Operations Plan. All of the agency heads that are here with us today, their agencies have significant roles in the preparation and the response to this potential severe weather. But let me just urge our citizens that just as the governor has called to bear today all the forces of the state of Alabama, that citizens need to today be preparing for this severe weather, winter weather. That once it occurs, as Mr. Stukovich has explained, the roads may become impassable and travel may be restricted, if not impossible. And I would urge individuals to monitor their local media to determine exactly what the situations are in your local area. There's a way to be prepared for this. You need to have emergency supplies and or food for up to 72 hours. With the icing conditions mentioned by the governor, there may be extended periods of power outage. If you have power sources that are external to that, generators and or heating sources that utilize propane or other fuels, make sure that those are well ventilated, and at no time should generators be used inside your home. If you have any questions about how to prepare for this, you can go to ema.alabama.gov, and all of the information is there and the ways to get to the various sources for information that you may need. I would strongly urge you to continue to monitor the situation over the next several days, and also understand that in this type of winter weather situation, a variance in temperature of 2 degrees can mean the difference between sleet, freezing rain, and or snow. And those situations are very important to monitor, and low-lying areas and bridges become iced over first. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, do we have any questions? Yes.
You said motorists were being encouraged to avoid unnecessary travel. Is that just in South Alabama where the worst is expected, or is that statewide?
Well, I think we're going to have to wait and see, because we really don't know in the central part of the state how things will transpire. And it will depend, as Mr. Faulkner just said, it'll depend on 2 to 4 degrees changes, and so we really don't know. And it'll depend a lot on how much precipitation that we have further north. But we're just going to have to wait and see, and we just want people to be very careful on the roads. Yes, sir.
Will there be trucks or sand trucks, will they be deployed on the interstates in the next few days?
I'm going to ask our Department of Transportation head to come forward and, John?
As you might anticipate, this is not a normal event for us. Most of our salting and sanding equipment is located in the northern part of the state. We have been in the process of moving as much of that as we can to the southern parts of the state during the day today and during the night and evening today. We anticipate that we will be able to conduct meaningful salting operations on most major roads, and we anticipate doing that may be limited to one lane in each direction. The bridges will be particularly emphasized, and we'll be doing everything we can, particularly in the Mobile area, to keep the bridges open on the interstate system and in southern Alabama.
Okay, thank you, John. John Cooper.
Governor Bentley, the last time folks in the state experienced something similar was 3 years ago when we had that ice storm. Should folks be basically thinking the exact same way, stay indoors, stay off the roads, and don't really think about going outside for perhaps a day or two?
I think you have to be extremely careful with ice because you don't see it till you hit it. And I just think that all motorists have to be extremely careful. I mean, accidents are certainly going to occur if you're out on the road. And I just want to encourage everyone to stay off the road as much as possible. And if you're stranded, call for help. We will have our National Guard out. We will have people available. If you're stranded, call 911 and let us know, and that will help us determine where you are.
Yeah, you mentioned state offices will be open tomorrow unless you change your mind tomorrow. I assume that means the legislature will meet tomorrow scheduled unless something changes.
I have not spoken to the legislature. I assume that they're coming in the morning. I think certainly they would have no problem getting here in the morning. As far as, do you believe that they will in the morning, Jim?
Yeah, it'll start snowing about 10 o'clock.
They're coming in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Governor, with the freezing temperatures tonight, are there any efforts being made to try and get the homeless into shelters this evening, or?
We will be working with all of our agencies so that people will be taken care of. We can let that be done on a local level first in the southern parts of the state, whether it's hotel rooms, whatever is necessary. But if we have to open shelters, we certainly will do that.
You may have addressed this, but the plan for state agencies after tomorrow morning?
I did not finish that answer. What we will do in the morning in Montgomery is we will make a decision by mid-morning about if we close state offices here in Montgomery. We'll make that decision in the morning. We would like, if possible, we don't want someone to be unsafe, but if possible, we would like for people to come to work in the morning, and then we'll make a decision about when we would close the offices here in Montgomery. I would also like to say, since it is a state of emergency as far as our schools are concerned, that this gives the discretion to our local school boards, principals, those that are in charge of local schools all across the state under a state of emergency. They can make that decision, and if they do miss a day, they can apply to the State Board of Education to not have to make those days up, and they still would be paid for those days under the state of an emergency that I've declared.
Is the state of emergency statewide?
It is statewide, and the reason it's statewide is because we don't have a firm line of where the weather will affect us. And it makes it easier to deal with if we just make it statewide. We do have the propane issue that we have already declared a state of emergency dealing with propane. And our problem with the propane issue deals with the carriers and the ability to transport we have waived all the rules and regulations for the transportation. The problem is we just don't have enough trucks to transport it. We would like to ask everyone across the state to please conserve as much as possible their propane because, we just don't know when that problem is going to be solved. Yes.
This is going back a while, but the state was hit with a major ice storm, I think in '93, that shut down a lot of the state for a while. Are we looking at weather conditions similar to that? Could residents expect something similar to what we went through back then?
Well, I don't know. We had 13 inches of snow in 1993, but I don't think we're going to have quite that. But I'll let Jim talk about that.
Yeah, the heavy snow being is going to be very confined, so we don't expect that. As far as the ice, it's more like the January of 2011, where of a quarter to half inch over the southern part of the state, including the Montgomery, Troy areas. So it'll be more like that, 2011. But again, it's going all the way to the coast, and as the governor mentioned, all those exposed bridges and all that, it could be really hairy because it is really going to affect the southern half of the state more than the northern half. But as the governor said, we got to keep an eye on some of that precipitation could work its way northward.
We certainly hope that it's not going to be as bad as it sounds. We certainly hope that, but we have to be prepared, and that's what we're going to be. We're going to be prepared. Anyone else have a question? Okay. Well, thank you very much, and again, I'd like to please ask all of our citizens to be very, very careful. Be prepared. Today is the day to be prepared. Or certainly in the morning, with your food, with ways to heat your home just in case the electricity does go out, and certainly with ice on the power lines, that is always a possibility. So we just want everyone to be prepared. Be prepared to go to a neighbor, someone else who has power, or someone else who has a heated home. Let's just be prepared. Let's look after our neighbors. If you know of some elderly individuals who need help, let's Alabamians look after each other. That makes me so proud to be the governor of this state because we do look after each other. So let's do that in this time of potential emergency. So thank you very much.